What's good, YouTube? Welcome to another reaction video. Last time around I reacted to big fights in hockey history and I had a lot of questions, and a lot of people in the comment section were explaining a lot of things about the fight rules, and I had a lot of comments where people were telling me to go watch The Code, the unwritten rules of fighting and retribution in ice hockey. So I got that here to react to. Now, I'm not gonna lie, people have told me not to look at the sports through just watching fights. I actually want to get into the sports and I want to pick a team, but I have to understand what's going on and the rules. So when I react to this, after this, I'm also going to make another video of me reacting to the rules in hockey. I think Nih also has a video about that. But first, we're gonna start with the unwritten rules of fighting and retribution.
The Code. The sport of ice hockey is the only sport on the planet that tolerates fighting and retribution.
Exactly.
Even though
it's the only sport.
So. Referees will penalize players for breaking the rules, but sometimes the players take matters into their own hands.
This is a physical
There are unwritten rules that govern how players should behave that you won't find in any rulebook. And there are even specific players on hockey teams whose sole job it is to police the game accordingly. These are the enforcers, otherwise known as goons, tough guys, fighters, and cops. And whilst it's their sole job to police the game, the code applies to every player on the ice. These unwritten rules are based on mutual respect for your opponents and protecting your teammates.
Fair enough.
This is the code.
Let's get to
it.
The
first rule of the code is that they do not talk about the code. Whilst these rules exist amongst players, there is no official record of the rules of the code, except for this video. And you won't find these in any official rulebook. The NHL, or International Ice Hockey Federation.
Wait, so let me get this straight. This thing I'm about to watch is actually the code. That's why it's called unwritten rules. Like, everyone just knows this, but there's no formal guide to it. Everybody just knows we have to do it this way, but it's unwritten.
Will always officially decline to comment about any code.
They don't even talk about it.
This is because they don't want to officially admit that their sport that they govern isn't completely under their control. The players police the game as much as the referees do, and sometimes they police it a little too much. Rule number 2. If you do something bad, expect to pay the price.
Pay the price.
Let's say that you spitefully whack your opponent with a stick, and for some reason, the referees and linesmen completely missed it. No penalty is called against you, and you seemingly get away with it. I guarantee that the other team saw it, and they'll be gunning for you to avenge your crimes. There is now a giant bullseye on your back, with members of the opposing team looking to return the favour, one way or another. And if you manage to avoid punishment until the end of the game, just wait until you play them again. I guarantee they won't have forgotten. Your crime is not transient, and they won't stop headhunting you until you have paid the price.
What? No way! So this is crazy. It's like me watching a soccer game and then someone tackles me and the ref is like, oh, maybe they didn't see it, or he doesn't think it was a proper tackle. And then the players try to they don't take it out on me then. Then the next game, the away game, maybe like half the season has gone, half the year has passed, and then someone else tells me I have to pay the price, and then they go at me. Wow, that's insane. Wow.
Rule number 3. You do not target stars. The best players on most teams are the star players that score goals and assists. There is an unwritten gentleman's agreement that stipulates that if you don't hit our star players, we won't hit yours.
So what about a team of all-stars? Okay, I don't know, like something like let me put it in like basketball terms-ish, like the Golden States when they had, the Splash Brothers, with Curry and the whole hot-ass team. Maybe not that, but like, I don't know, what if there's like a team with 4-star players? What's gonna happen then? I don't know. Maybe there's a team that has a lot of money and they trade in or they buy a lot of players. I don't know. Is that possible? Like, there's a team with more than three or more star players. How does that affect fighting if no one can touch all four of them? I don't know. Let's keep going.
Let the stars score the goals and let everyone else do their respective jobs. Should you unfairly target a star player, expect swift retribution as per rule number 2. Rule number 4. Ignore rule 3 if that star breaks rule 2. Sidney Crosby, a generational player that can score goals at will and will one day be enshrined into the Hockey Hall of Fame. A talent so immense that he doesn't need to dive, take cheap shots or hit anybody when they're down. But he does it anyway. This is totally unacceptable. Once you're a star player that resorts to these tactics, rule number 3 no longer applies, and you'll have a bullseye on your back just like everyone else.
Okay, fair enough.
Rule number 5, no sucker punches. There is a proper decorum to challenge someone to a fight. However, sucker punching someone, i.e. punching them when they're down or not looking, is an unacceptable way of doing so. This is cowardly, and blindsiding someone like this will result in the opposing team taking note. Expect swift retribution as per rule number 2.
Damn.
Lots of it. Rule number 6.
Okay, so you have to stand by your team no matter what. This is literally what I'm hearing here. Like, when shit goes down against your players, you have to be ready to fight for your teammates. Team spirit. Okay.
Pick on someone your own size or bigger.
Ooh.
Unless they instigate it, it is not acceptable to pick on someone who is significantly smaller than you, especially if they're skilled players that do not fight. The rule is simple. Pick on someone the same size or bigger. Constantly picking on a smaller opponent will result in someone significantly bigger coming after you. Rule number 7. Verbally or physically agree. To challenge someone to a fight, it's important to stand square onto your opponent. Gesture with the hands, the helmet, or start shaking off your gloves. Dropping the stick is a clear indication that you want to throw down.
Damn.
It's fair to bait them physically or verbally, but if you're wearing a cage or full visor, it's proper etiquette to remove that prior to fighting your opponent. Fighting with a half visor may be morally acceptable in some, but not all, leagues. Rule number 8. Don't back down.
Don't be a pussy.
When challenged to a fight, especially if you have been guilty of a crime committed on the ice, it is seen as cowardly if you do not accept the challenge. Backing down is not cool.
So if not me, if somebody else is on the team and he's a weak ass and he's like, no, I don't want to fight, that's not allowed in this sport. You have to stand up for yourself. This is not this is one of the toughest sports. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, to be able to stand for your team, to your teammates, to be able to fucking throw hands for somebody else, this is a tough sport. I love it.
You will not receive any brownie points with your teammates and expect some form of retribution sometime during the game, legal or not. Rule number 9. You do not turtle. Once you have engaged in a fight, it is not acceptable to turtle, i.e. curl up in a ball to avoid punches. This is seen as cowardly.
What?
You have accepted the challenge to fight.
Damn,
and fight
no back down.
You must.
No backing down.
Rule number 10. It is acceptable to premeditate fights. It is deemed courteous to politely ask a player if he wants to fight. Exhibit A, Georges Larac.
Excuse me, ma'am. Oh, sorry, excuse me, sir. Would you like to throw hands? Cause obviously doesn't go that way, but like, hey bro, you fucked up that time, so you wanna get to it? Ah, sure, let's do it. Maybe something like that. You know.
Want to? Okay. Square up?
Whoa!
Okay, good luck, man.
Damn! Just like that? Do you want a Duke? Yeah, sure. No, I gotta take that shit back. Wow.
If he wants to fight. Exhibit A, Georges Larac.
Want to? Okay. Square up? Okay, good luck, man.
This is the gentlemanly way of instigating a fight, and a fine example of good code etiquette. If a premeditated challenge is accepted, the gloves must come off and helmet visors removed before you fight. Respected enforcers will actually remove their helmets completely and roll up their sleeves. This is to protect their opponent's hands as well.
But I've seen people boxing each other without their helmet off. They just went at it, like real quick. I've seen that.
As their own. This is the ultimate mark of respect. Rule number 11. You do not punch someone lying down.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Once the fight has reached the ground, and one or both combatants have hit the ice, you must stop immediately. They are in a defenseless position. It is dishonorable to hit someone when they're down, especially if they can't defend themselves.
Fair enough, yeah.
The punishment and retaliation for breaking this rule is severe. Rule number 12.
And when they say severe, they mean you're gonna get your ass beat. You're gonna get clapped. Crazy.
You do not fight goalies unless you are a goalie or they instigate it.
Whoa, really?
Goalies, like stars, have a job to do, and it doesn't involve fighting. Unless they challenge you and it's obvious that they're doing so, leave them well alone. That said, it is acceptable for both goalies to fight each other, even if no incident has happened between them.
Hell yeah!
Rule number 13. Brawling is fair game.
Damn.
It is perfectly acceptable to retaliate to multiple infractions made by both sides. If every player steps in at once, it's fair game to challenge someone completely unrelated to the original altercation and fight with them.
So you have to not back down and stand up for your team, regardless of what happened. Got it.
This is to prevent the opposing player from applying damage to your teammates and to temporarily eliminate them from the game by getting them and yourself sent to the penalty box. Rule number 14. Be wary of pests. A pest is a player whose sole job it is to antagonize and annoy you and your teammates in order to draw penalties. They will resort to anything from verbal abuse to underhand tactics to licking your face. They will most likely challenge you to a fight and then proceed to run away, leaving you with an instigator penalty. Be cautious when you challenge them to a fight, because that's exactly what they want you to.
Wait, so this is an actual tactic in the game. You have a player that comes in and he's a pest. He's just there to instigate and look for trouble and get under your skin to cause a penalty. Wow. That is crazy. Wow. This shit is so interesting. Holy.
Rule number 15. The golden rule. You stand up for your teammates, whether it's your job or not.
Fair enough.
Whether you're an enforcer or not, if you are on the ice and foul play.
Guys, you know what's crazy about this sport? Just remember that if the officials don't see it, somebody else will. That's pretty much it. So if you do something and you get away because the referees didn't catch that, someone else is going to catch that. And you're going to get your ass beat. Or you're going to get into a fight. That's crazy. There's no running away from consequences in this sport. Pretty much.
You are expected to stand up for your teammates, regardless of size, weight, or star power.
Damn.
These players will stand up for you, through thick and through thin, and it is seen as cowardly to not return the favour. Teammates will notice if you don't have their back, so be wary because one day, it might be you that needs the help. The most interesting thing is that the code is open to interpretation. No two players have the exact same interpretation of the code. But in general, these are the rules that ice hockey players live and die by, even if they're not written down.
Crazy.
When regular rules aren't enforced properly, the code dictates how justice is served. In conclusion, there are some amazingly talented players in the sport of ice hockey, and there are people whose job it is to protect them. These men and women have given up being stars themselves, taken lower paychecks, significantly shortened their own careers, and risked their lives and future health, all to protect their teammates when the rules of the game fail to do so. These are noble warriors who will fight with honor and within the unwritten rules of the game.
This is the most patriotic sport ever. Like, this is the sport that has a lot of... No, there's no other sport that has this much team... Is it team spirit? I don't know what word to use. But guys, you know what I mean. Like it's an honor to fight for your brothers.
They deserve our absolute respect because they are the enforcers of the code.
Wow. Okay, so now I understand the unwritten rules of fighting and retribution. Now, guys, I have to I'm gonna start watching a lot, hockey videos and reacting to them. If you're also into football and you want to see me, I also started getting into football like a year ago now, and I'm watching a lot of college football. I'm also reacting to stuff like that. You can also see that on my channel. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking of converting my. I mean, I've been making a bunch of other videos, but it seems like everyone's enjoying me reacting to this type of sports content. So if you guys want that, I'm just gonna keep making that then. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, say something in the comment, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.